Hi everybody, welcome to the behind the scenes for Denise Harvey. She is the author of Growing Up Sassafras, Where is Daddy? We are filming Daily Spark TV, but I wanted to give you a little opportunity to know a little bit more about her. So come on, let's go. Hi Denise.
Hi.
Thank you so much for spending this extra time with me today.
Thank you.
Now I love the title of your book, Growing Up Sassafras, Where is Daddy? Why such a title?
Well, the name Sassafras actually came from the street that we lived on when we were stationed in New Jersey. I always loved the name Sassafras. I remember having an aunt years ago tell me what it meant from the tree and all that. And so I wanted to call her Sassy in the book. I wanted to call her Sassy, even though her character is not such.
Okay.
But I thought, well, you know what? There's not going to be another name Sassafras for a little girl in a book story, so I'll try that.
Right,
Yes,
right. I
yes.
love it. I love it. It's funny how there are certain things that kind of travel along with us. In all of my travels, it seems like the Magnolia Tree has been the one tree, no matter where I am, there's always a Magnolia Tree somewhere around. And I go, I guess that's a little bit of Virginia that travels
Yes.
with me. So I love it. I can understand that. Now, why did you decide that a children's book was what you wanted to write, as opposed to perhaps something for a teenager or even adults?
It's easy to do an adult book. It's easier, should I say, to do an adult book on this subject. But it's our children that are hurting. It's our children that are suffering. And we're leaving it up to the adults to be willing to speak to the children. And some of them are not able or desire to approach the subjects, especially when their heart is still hurting themselves. But when you have a child who's actually hurting too, I thought, well, you know, if I put it from their perspective, as if they're having a conversation. And then what I did was I brought the grandparents in, because I thought, well, if the parents are hurting, who would speak the wisdom and the hope into the child? The grandparents. So I decided to use the grandparents to speak that hope and that help and that faith into the lives of their grandchildren, so that the message would still be portrayed, even if the parents weren't doing that, or if the parents are not in the child's life to do so.
Because that's true. There are so many people where the grandparents are acting as the parents or the main guardians. But I think it was so smart of you to introduce the grandparents for that child that says, you know, mommy doesn't talk as much as she used to anymore, or mommy's sad, and to know that there's safety in that grandparent, that they will be able to be understanding, kind, caring, but still speak truth.
Yes,
At the
absolutely.
same time. I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that. Now, when you were writing, did you find that there was a particular part, not necessarily a chapter, but there was a particular portion that you found easier to write or harder to write than any of the other pages?
The easier parts of the book were when Sassy was happy, when things are going pretty well and she's celebrating. The harder parts were like with her little friend. There's a character in here named Jeremiah, and his mom passed away from cancer. So his father's angry with God because his mom died, and now he has his grandparents coming too. But in the book, they're in children's church, and Jeremiah is sad because his mommy can't see his picture. And so Sassy's trying to encourage him, and she's trying to lift. She, as a child, the teacher couldn't do it, no one else could do it, but she, as a child, is telling him it's okay, And so, your mommy loves you, and your mommy loves the picture, and I literally, as I was writing this, I was crying, I was praying, I was praising, and I was like, Lord, that keeps happening to me through the whole book, Lord. And so every time I got to really hard, because I could feel it in my heart, I can feel it coming. I can literally, it's almost like I was on the wall watching this little girl encourage him and speak life into him. just as her grandmother was speaking life and hope into her, she's now able to do the same thing for another child.
And isn't that awesome? How we can see that when we pour into our children are able to pour into others. It is, so many times people forget that children listen, but they also are watching what you're doing. How are you interacting not only with other adults, but how are you interacting with them? How did you make them feel? And if you did something comforting for them, they want to do that same thing for someone else. Children have an amazing ability to be able to be so authentic and so real if we as adults don't get in the way. And just let them be who God has called them to be. I think that is awesome. Now, not putting you on the spot, but do you want to write future books? Is there another book perhaps simmering somewhere? Or do you think this is it?
I actually do have another book. So what I did and what's been in my heart to do as different things come to me, I said, well, you know what? The next book, what I'll do is I will use the character, one of her friends from this book, and it is Jeremiah, and he will be the character for the next story. I've already named, it's called Hurting Little Hearts, I Miss My Mommy. So now we're going to take the journey of Jeremiah's life with his grandparents. And then what I did, because of my background with my husband, my family, I put his father in the military. So that way we had, because these are all real, true things that are happening in everyone's life. We do have parents passing away, unfortunately, and then they pass away, but the child is still there. They're hurting. The father's hurting. The child is hurting, but who's seeing to their hurt? As adults are going through theirs as well too. So that is already the second book that I've already started writing.
And I love that idea, and you've made such a great point. So many times as an adult, your adult friend will come over. How are you?
Yes.
Your girlfriends come over, your male friends come over, and it's, are you okay? And everyone brings food and all of those things. And in passing, they will ask the child, how are you doing?
Yes.
But it's the same,
Yes.
how are you doing? They asked before
That's
the
right.
tragedy happened. So I think they really do need to spend that time with that child and make sure that they're okay as well.
Yes.
How mindful of you. I love it. And unfortunately, dealing with military, we do have some times where parents don't come back the same.
That's right.
Or they don't come back at all. So yeah, that needs to be adjusted. How mindful of you to be able to do it. I love it. Well, Denise, thank you so much for spending a little extra time with me today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Alrighty, you guys, we've got some work to do. See you next time. Bye-bye.